There is a specific kind of loneliness that only gets louder when you are with people. You know the one. It shows up at parties, at family dinners, in the quiet moment after a friend has said something kind, and you feel further away than when you were alone. You have tried to fix it. More friends, better friends, therapy, honesty, vulnerability, gratitude lists. And somehow, after everything, the feeling is still there, waiting for you the moment the room empties, or sometimes before it even does. What you do not know is that the loneliness you are carrying is not one feeling, it is five. 5 different kinds of being alone, stacked on top of each other, and the reason nothing ever fixes it is that most solutions only reach one of them. In the next few minutes, I will show you the 5 layers of loneliness most people carry without knowing they carry them. Each one explains why a specific thing in your life has always felt slightly wrong, even when everything on the surface looked right. The 5th one is the one no other person can fix, no matter how much they love you, and the moment you see it, the whole map of your relationships changes. Think of the last time you were at a big gathering, a birthday, a wedding, a family holiday. You were surrounded, people were laughing, someone was telling a story. And somewhere in the middle of it, you felt a specific small pain, the pain of being in a room that did not know you were in it. Not because people were rude, not because they did not like you. The opposite, they smiled at you, they asked how you were, they made space on the couch. But their eyes never actually landed on you. They landed on the part of you that was performing at the party. This is the first loneliness, the invisible one, and it is the one almost nobody names out loud. You can be physically seen, smiled at, even complimented, and still feel completely unseen in the specific way that matters. Because being seen is not the same as being looked at. Being seen is when someone's attention actually reaches the part of you that no one else has touched. And most of the people in your life, even the ones who love you, are not looking there. They are not trained to. The sign you are caught in this kind of loneliness: you leave social gatherings feeling emptier than when you arrived. And you cannot explain it, because by every external measure, conversation, warmth, presence, it was a good night. Now imagine the people who do seem to know you. The friends you have had for years, the family members who have watched you grow up, the partners who say they know you better than anyone else does. And then notice something stranger than the first loneliness. It is possible to be known by everyone around you and still be completely misread. This is the second kind of loneliness, and it has a name. It is the loneliness of being misread. These people have a version of you in their heads, built from hundreds of interactions over many years, and they are certain they know who you are. But the version they built was assembled from the parts of you that solved their needs, the part that listened, the part that stayed calm, the part that did not ask for too much. And when you try to show them something else, something newer, something truer, something harder to love, they flinch or dismiss it or quietly tell you that is not like you. Because you stopped being the person they built, and the person they built was who they wanted. The loneliness of being misread is not the loneliness of being unknown. It is the loneliness of being certainly, confidently, lovingly wrong. The sign you are caught in this: you feel closer to acquaintances who barely know you than to people who have known you for 20 years. Because strangers see you clean, the people who love you are looking through 15 years of their own projections. Now think of the thoughts you have that you never say. The unusual ones, the slightly too dark ones, the ones that feel too specific to share. The thoughts about mortality that interrupt your coffee, the questions that have always felt too big for small talk, the emotional textures that do not have names. You stop trying to share them without ever consciously deciding to stop, because each time you try, they land in an empty room. This is the third loneliness, the unmirrored. It is the loneliness of being in an interior landscape nobody else has ever seen. You ride trains, eat dinners, attend meetings surrounded by people whose internal worlds do not match yours at all. You try, sometimes, to describe what is inside you, a book that has never left your mind, a song that undoes you, a way of seeing the sky that somehow matters to you more than it should. And the person you share it with nods politely, then changes the subject, because what you said did not land inside them the way it lives inside you. The loneliness of being unmirrored is the loneliness of carrying a world nobody else has visited, and slowly learning to stop describing it, because the describing keeps failing. The sign you are caught in this: you have thoughts you only think when you are alone, because saying them out loud has never once felt like being met. And over time, without realizing it, you start to suspect that maybe those thoughts do not belong to anyone but you. Now the fourth, and this one is harder to recognize because it hides inside your closest relationships. You have close friends, maybe a partner, people who love you and whom you love back. And yet, something in these relationships never quite reaches. You are close on paper, you see each other often, you text regularly, you share your days. But there is a specific layer of you that the closeness never touches, a place inside you that, no matter how warm the friendship, nobody ever reaches. This is the fourth loneliness, the unreached. It happens because of one of two things. Either your armor is so well built that nobody can find the door, or the other person's armor keeps them from fully showing up. Usually, it is both. And so the closeness becomes a performance of closeness, a warm, genuine, well-intentioned performance that nonetheless leaves a specific part of you completely untouched. The cruelest version is when you know the other person carries the same hidden place, and neither of you can quite break through. You hug, you say I love you, you mean it. And still, one specific layer of you has never, in the entire relationship, been reached by another human being. The sign you are caught in this: even with your closest person, there is a room inside you that you have never invited anybody into, and you are not sure you know how to. And now the fifth, the deepest, the one no other person can fix, no matter how much they love you. This is the loneliness of being estranged from yourself. It happens when years of being the version of you that others needed, the performer, the helper, the agreeable one, slowly erase what you actually feel underneath. You can be at home alone, with nothing to do, and still feel the ache. You can be well-rested, well-loved, well-fed, and still feel like someone important is missing. That someone is you, the actual you, the one whose feelings you stopped asking about a long time ago because there was nobody to ask them on your behalf. The first four loneliness feel like an absence of other people. This one feels like an absence of yourself. And it explains why some people feel lonelier after years of therapy than before, because therapy taught them about the other loneliness, but never quite got to this one. The sign you are caught in the fifth: even complete solitude does not feel like being with yourself. It feels like being alone with the absence of yourself. You cannot remember the last time you asked yourself what you actually want. You cannot remember the last time you felt at home inside your own skin. And no amount of love from another person can reach this, because another person is not where it lives. The fifth loneliness lives in the space between you and you. Here is the hidden truth that ties all five kinds of loneliness together. None of them are about having too few people. They are about five specific kinds of contact that modern life has become very good at almost providing, but never quite delivering. Being looked at without being seen, being known without being understood, being heard without being mirrored, being close without being reached, and finally, being with yourself without being home. These are the quiet hungers of our time. Nobody teaches you to name them, which is why, when you try to explain how you feel, no words ever come out that sound right to anybody, including you. Loneliness, for most people, is not a gap in their social life. It is a shape their entire inner world has taken, one they were never given the vocabulary to describe. That is why the usual solutions, more friends, better friends, being vulnerable, more honesty, sometimes help with layer 1 and almost never touch layer 5. So here is what actually works, and it begins with the opposite of what you have been told. The first step is not to seek more connection. It is to name, specifically, which layer of loneliness is hurting right now. Because each layer has a different antidote, and the antidote for one almost never works on another. So tonight, before you sleep, notice which of the 5 you felt the loudest today. Name it silently to yourself, not as a concept, but as a sentence like, "Today I was unseen at the meeting," or "Today I was misread at dinner." That simple act of naming, precise, private, honest, is where every antidote begins. It cannot be skipped, it cannot be rushed, and it is the only step that ever does the real work. Most of the relief people chase assumes all loneliness is the same. It is not. And the moment you can tell yourself which specific kind is hurting right now, the relief that actually fits has a chance of arriving. Ask yourself right now, quietly, honestly, which of the 5 is the loudest in your life. Not the one that sounds smartest, not the one you think you should pick, the one that made something inside you tighten when you read the description. That is where you start, and starting quietly, to your own surprise, is usually how some of this begins to loosen.